Good morning, good morning. Big Square, road-to-road.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. A couple things I want to talk about. We are in the crash. It's happening all around us. 6 months from now, we'll be able to look back and say, wow, I was right in the middle of that shit. Really interesting. This is the first time in history a global unbacked fiat system has crashed. This is the first time in history we've had a global unbacked fiat system. So nobody really knows what's going on. Nobody knows how crazy it'll get. I think the cryptos will do extremely well for various reasons. First of all, it's the first time we've ever had a choice. When the old system fails, it was always go back to gold and silver. And in the past, all the bankers owned all the gold. All the rich people owned all the gold. Now they still own the gold, but we have an alternative. So it'll be interesting to see what the people decide, because it won't be the deciders. It won't be the banks. It won't be backed. It won't be ICE. It won't be Steve Mnuchin. It won't be the Illuminati. The people get to decide, and they can decide not making a decision just by choice, because there is a choice. Finally, we have cryptocurrencies. So keep an eye on, obviously, Litecoin as a means of exchange, but also I would say Bitcoin Cash over Bitcoin as a means of exchange. Remember, that's why Roger split off Bitcoin Cash, Roger and the gang. They saw an imminent collapse, and they thought Bitcoin wasn't going to be fast enough. And they said, we're going to increase the block size, do what Satoshi wanted to do, and voila, you got Bitcoin Cash. And there are some kind of dark people behind in the core developer group. Not all of them, but there are some. And those are the kind of people who are going to be exposed. So if you're looking between holding Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, also Bitcoin is about 50% of its all-time high. Whereas Bitcoin Cash is like 10%, 8% of its all-time. So yeah, I'd think about swapping some Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash. And we got the halvening coming up, and Bitcoin has always performed well in its halvening. Bitcoin Cash has never been through a halvening. Bitcoin Cash is really jumping out as, hey, take a look at it. But obviously Litecoin in the long run as a means of exchange with the Lightning Network, peer-to-peer transactions instantly, that will be, I think, the main choice. But again, it's people get to choose. There'll be a lot of cryptos in play. Digibyte might even take a little chunk of it, little one. But definitely Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash, when the old system breaks down and we're looking for a new means of exchange, those are looking good. Now, where are we as far as cryptocurrencies? When's all this going to happen, Bix? The technical guys are drawing their lines. They're like, we're in the wedge, we're in the wedge. They don't think about anything other than the technicals. And the technicals are saying, we're going to have a breakout, one way or the other. Down, crashing to the floor to $3,000, $2,000, or up, blowing up sky high to $14,000, $15,000. And this is what the wedge looks like. It looks pretty much like a wedge. So all the technical traders, now the big money, uses these technical traders to fleece them. So whichever way the initial breakout goes, I would think the longer term is going to go the other way. So if Bitcoin goes crazy instantly for 4 or 5 days, everybody's like, oh, breakout, and gets all the weak hands in. And then they use because back comes out Monday, the 23rd. They use back to crush it. And vice versa. If it crashes down below the wedge, and everybody's like, oh, the world is ending, and then it'll jump back up. So I don't know what's going to happen, what the riggers are going to do. All I say is you got to have cryptos in your portfolio. Your best option is just to hodl through it, because in the long run, say 2 or 3 months, you're going to be really happy you didn't make any moves at this point in time. All right? So that's kind of where we are. And if you look at the date, when this wedge comes to fruition, it's right around September 23rd, which is the day that back is up and running. Now, you might say, holy shit, why did they pick that day? How come all this stuff is happening right now? Was it all planned? Absolutely, it's all planned. They already know where they're going to put it. It's a rigged market. They're all rigged markets. Speaking of rigged markets, they get the help of the SEC, the criminal SEC. Yesterday, I put out I'm going to put a link in this description, a link to the Veritasium SEC petition. There's 1,600 signatures. So 1,600 people, users of the very product, are pissed off and say the SEC is a criminal organization full of shit. Where is the petition? I said this yesterday. Where is the petition for the people who think they got ripped off in the ICO? How many signatures are on that petition? I think I'm going to just start that petition and say, hey, where is the petition? Where are the signatures on the people who is jumping up and down thinking that, oh, I bought a security that was promised to me as a security. I was promised to make money. Where are those people? SEC, you got to answer that question. I think that Reggie's defense needs to go to the judge and says, hey, we got 1,600 people saying they're waiting for this product, amazing product that they take out the criminal exchanges. It could take them out. Peer-to-peer transactions. Where are the people on the other side? Where are the people who got so wounded that the SEC had to come in and protect us? They aren't there. It's a fraud at the SEC. Sign the petition below. Sign the petition and write comments. There's 793 comments. Read them. Everybody's saying the SEC is a fraud. Just go back to Bernie Madoff, JP Madoff. Go to the silver, well, that's the CFTC. They're just dumb. The SEC criminal lawyers are criminals. The CFTC lawyers are just dumb. That's always been the case for the last 20 years I've been in this game. Anyway, crazy stuff. What's going down? Goldman Sachs has just issued an ominous warning to all its multi-trillion-dollar investors. Look for market chaos in October. Are we about to see U.S. financial markets go crazy? That is what Goldman Sachs seems to think, and it certainly won't be the first time the great financial chaos has been unleashed during the month of October. When the stock market crashed in 1929, it started the worst economic depression that we've ever witnessed. In October 1987, that's 2 months after Greenspan got into office, the largest single-day percentage decline in U.S. stock market history rocked the entire planet. That was a computer click. And the nightmarish events of October 2008 set the stage for the Great Recession that we still haven't fully recovered from. So could it be possible that something similar may happen in October of 2019, or even September? September's only halfway done, my friends. Well, 2/3. According to CNBC, Goldman Sachs is warning that the stock market could soon go crazy again. Now, the stock market's being supported. The banks are absolutely on their last breath. Behind the scenes, repos are going off every day. Every day. Pretty soon they're going to come to Congress. They give us $20 trillion. But the stock market has been held up by the Exchange Stabilization Fund, so it's just hanging in there. And the gold and silver prices just hanging. They're going to break one way or the other. For investors taking a breather from the chaos in August, buckle up as the market's about to go crazy again. Wall Street is now inches away from reclaiming its record highs, but a rockier ride could be around the corner as stock volatility has been 25% higher in October on average since 1928, according to Goldman. Big price swings have been seen in each major stock benchmark and sector in October over the past 30 years, with technology and healthcare being the most volatile group. Goldman derivatives strategist John Marshall is the man behind the new warning. So Goldman derivatives I guarantee you they're taking, we're going to take the other end of this trade. So who knows what they're doing? They're going to rig the market, help rig the market whichever way they want. And he believes that there's some fundamental reasons why the month of October is so volatile. We believe high October volatility is more than just a coincidence, John Marshall, equities derivative strategist at Goldman, said in a note on Friday. We believe it is a critical period for many investors and companies that manage performance to calendar year end. Even though October hasn't arrived, we're already starting to see some things that we haven't witnessed before since the last financial crisis. For example, the Federal Reserve had not intervened in the repo market since 2008. But this week, the liquidity crunch was so bad that the Fed felt forced to conduct emergency overnight repurchase agreement operations. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They've done it every single day. It will not stop. They're going to have to put in something permanent. When Powell came out and said, oh, it's no big deal, he was full of shit. And then on Friday, the Fed announced that it will continue to conduct emergency interventions on a daily basis for the next 3 weeks. No, everything's fine. Look over there. Squirrel, where? Insane. New York Federal Reserve said Friday it will inject billions into the U.S. financial plumbing on a daily basis for the next 3 weeks in an effort to prevent a spike in short-term interest rates. That's called market rigging, my friends. The Fed will offer up to $75 billion a day in repurchase agreements, exchanging secure assets for cash for very short periods, through October 10th. In addition, it will offer 3 14-day repo operations of at least $30 billion each. So you could take longer, 14-day repos. This is the thing that Cliff was talking about, little mini bailouts as you go along. But again, it's to my point, it doesn't solve any of the problems. It makes them worse. So you can do all the mini bailouts you want. At some point, they're going to have to come back to Congress for a full-fledged bailout, and then it's up to the people. Then it's up to you and me. Will we give the bankers $20 trillion? Why do I keep saying $20 trillion? I do not know. $20 trillion has been the number stuck in my head for at least 5 years now. The next bailout will be $20 trillion. And it seems insane, but $700 billion was insane in 2008. $20 trillion is the minimum because they take the $20 trillion and then they hyper leverage it up the way bankers do to make it $200 trillion, and then that'll just kick the can down the road for another 10 years. We don't want that. Say no. Just say no. In essence, the plumbing of our financial system has gotten all jammed up, and calling out Ruda is simply not going to get the job done. Of course, Fed officials are trying to assure us that this is no big deal and that they have everything under control. But if all this is no big deal, why haven't they had to conduct such emergency interventions for the last 11 years? And this comes at a time when the deterioration of the U.S. economy appears to be accelerating. In fact, on Friday, St. Louis President Fed James Bullard publicly admitted that the U.S. manufacturing industry appears to be already in a recession. That is a stunning admission because normally Fed officials try very hard to maintain a narrative that everything is wonderful because they are doing such a great job manipulating the economy. So, yes, we know we're screwed. We can see the breakdown happening in the repo markets. The Fed is doing bailouts every day now. Every single day, they're bailing out the banks in overnight money. $75 billion here. It flips over another $75 billion. It's a rolling thing. It's not added on top of each other because it's 24-hour loan. That's how desperate these guys are. And they're not even filling it. $75 billion is being oversubscribed. And it's going to get worse. A lot worse. So what do? You join the Road to Ruta. Where I tell you everything. Everything I know. Everything I see. I did post the Friday road trip. For all you members, go to the member site. Check out the Friday road trip. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's right down here, 920. It has to do with the Road to Ruta, the other Road to Ruta stuff. You know, it wasn't just the gold in the Grand Canyon that they're talking about on the Road to Ruta comics. It's not just the takedown of the banks. There's other things in there. And it is all happening right now. So go to roadtoruta.com and subscribe today. And yes, you will get the coolest silver coin ever minted on planet Earth. It's up there with the silver eagle in my estimation. Freedom Girl's a good one too. Chris Twain, you did a good job with Freedom Girl. But Ruta's cooler. Ruta's the happy message. Freedom Girl's the angry message. Anyway, you want to get your coin? I don't sell them. Yeah, that's the other thing. The Silver Eagles, most beautiful coin, is sold by the millions. Freedom Girl has been sold by I don't know how many they've sold of that. Road to Ruta coin, it's not sold. The only way to get it is by subscribing to the Road to Ruta. Becoming a member, this is Big Weir, and you also get 100 Theta and 500 Theta fuel. For you non-crypto people, you take it, you shove it in your safe at home, and you're in the crypto world. You're going to benefit from those coins. I guarantee it to you. Anyway, this is Big Weir, Road to Ruta. Make sure you have a good weekend. Very important to have a good weekend because it's going to get silly in the crypto world and in the silver world next week. I'll talk to you later.